There it is. And it's official. We back at it like Torah addicts out of rehab. Shalom Yashrala. Y'all brought come here watch how much I got outside. We give you something to look at real quick. All right. And it's official. We're gonna start to share around this page and I want you all to have this. This is Bible Sagas. Beautiful. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's get it. Your brother Isaiah, mine, Yasser Allah, and it's officially back at it. So, we're gonna see what we got coming up in this next couple. We're gonna try to be probably an hour and 45 minutes. We got our brother Genesis, Loopy Lane, who borrowed his name to us, man, which is so beautiful. Hebrew News. Welcome to Hebrew News. We're going to see if we can share some information with you all real quick. I'm your brother, Isaiah Bani Yashala, also known as Isaiah Yashala, from Armaville and Cumberland, Shalom. Just don't call me a person who doesn't keep this shit off. All men have sinned and fallen short of the glory of the Most High, but still, we're going to try to keep this holy day. Excuse me, this holy day. All right. So today is not the Shabbat. Today is actually, we're looking at being in the fourth day of the week, so-called Wednesday, so-called Wednesday. When people talk about the different days of the week, et cetera, you know, all the different names that they have. Yeah, we go into the breakdowns of why it's called this, why it's called that, why it's Monday, why it's Tuesday, why is it, was it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Go down the list. So yeah, we absolutely do talk about why does the days of the week have these specific names. And you find out that they were based off of the false gods. Ain't that something? So yeah, we be calling them false gods, not intentionally. We call on the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is named Yahweh. And he teaches us his name. He teaches his name to the children of Yasharala. He teaches his name to the word, Craig. To the Jew first, then to the Gentile. So we got a lot of stuff going on. All right, Shalom, if you're watching, put a 7 in the room if the audio is okay. I'm gonna take time and send this link out. All right, try to see if we can get a few friends and family members to build with us. I want to share some information, and hopefully the information will be helpful to you. Again, we're gonna get it popping. We got our brother. You know him as OG Genesis Loopy Lane, but we know him by Phineas. Brother Phineas, he hooked us up with his page and his title, and I want to share that information real quick. So before we get popping, let's go over here. All right, salute to our brother Genesis Loopy Lane, also known as Phineas, the way you get the news, the information here. All right, right here. Here's his Facebook. We got the link. You can catch it, grab it. Share it with your friends, your families, your dogs, your cats. All right. Your frenemies, your enemies. Share it to everybody you know. All right. Brother Genesis Loopy Lane put some really good content up. And the objective is to try to get our people and the world to actually see and understand that the 12 tribes of Israel are not only scattered in the diaspora, North, South, Central America, but also within the interiors of Africa. So let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Let's see what the brother's sharing. He does this what do you call it, a campaign. He does this campaign, and the campaign is Real Hebrew News. My daughter's Real Brews News. All right. Welcome to Hebrew News. We'll see the title up here. All right. I want to see what this video is real quick. All right. Mind the sound. I apologize. The audio might be a little loud, so you might want to turn your TVs down. All right, you might want to turn your TVs down. Let's see.
Please, my daughter is tormented. Help me.
I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Lord, have mercy on me. Please, my daughter is tormented. Help me.
I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Lord, have mercy on me. Please, my daughter is tormented. Help me.
I am not sent but unto
Lord, have
maybe it shows the rest of the verse. I'll play the rest of it, see if it goes all the way through.
mercy on me.
Matthew 15:24.
Please, my daughter is tormented. Help me.
I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Lord, have mercy on me.
Oh, I thought it was going to say the rest of the verse. Oh. All right. So Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. All right, that's excellent. Let's go ahead and get here real quick. All right. Matthew 15:24, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. All right. And if you can grab this with your own Bibles, you'll be able to see it. All right. It's all right here. So Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. Now, the important part about this is we see that Christ says that he is not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Each one of these are individual topics, individual subjects in itself, or pilcrow, right? So this right here is one part of the conversation. All right, this part is another part of the conversation, and then this part is another part of the conversation, and then this part is another part of the conversation. So we were doing Matthew chapter 15, verse 24 in a visual form. It would look excellently like it looked, but he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Let's read the top of it. Then Yahushai. Yahushai is the Hebrew name for Jesus. His name was Yahushai in Hebrew, as Negroes, African Americans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, those North American Indian descent, those of us that were sold from the transatlantic slave trade, we call his name Yahweh. You have something to say Yahweh, pronunciation, etc. But the reality of it is this right here is blacks knew the name of Christ. We knew his name. We called on him. As a nation, as a people, we called on him. All right, let's go to this real quick. So Matthew chapter 15, verse 21, it says, Then Yahushai, and I want to encourage everybody, if you don't know Christ, get to know him. Believe in Yahushai. You don't have to believe in the European image of the true Christ, which was a Negro. We have the images, we have the documentations, we look at Russian icons. When we say we have the images, we mean that we can produce them through antiquities. All right. So Christ is and was a black man, was, is, and soon shall to be. Then Yahushai went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and to Sidon. All right, let's turn this down just a little bit. I want to make sure y'all can hear me better than the audio. I like the instrumental, but it can be overwhelming. So let me turn down a little bit. All right. So, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. So we see whoever this woman is, she cries out to the Savior. She cries out to the Lord, right? Like all of us have done. All of us have had issues, to where you, whatever you can think of, whatever you got going on in your life. All right. We've all cried out to the Most High, to the only begotten Son, and asked him for his help in some way, form, or another. Some of our families led us into Islam, and some of our families, led us right to him just in a different way. Let's look at this real quick. It says, a woman of Canaan, right? So we have Greek 5478. Greek 5478. All right, let's look on that real quick. All right, a woman of Canaan, 5478. All right, Canaanites. The name of the inhabitants of the Philistine or Palestine people before its conquest by the Israelites. So when it says Philistine or Palestine, it's actually talking about right here, it was either a person that lived in the land of Canaan or the Philistines, or it was the actual Philistines. Now, watch this. When you think of the word Palestine, you might think of, the people that you see today, but that's not the original word for Palestine. So when people say they're Palestinians, they don't actually know what they're talking about. This is what they'll think of when they think of Palestine. They'll think of this image. They'll think of this image. They'll think of these people. They'll think of the flag wave. They'll think of the bright colored faces. But the reality of it is the word Philistine didn't mean that. All right, so real quick, let's go to this. All right, then we're going. All right. Let me show you something. All right, so we're gonna get a nice mix of Bible and everything. All right, Hebrew news. Let's get it real quick. All right, boom. When you put in etymology of anything, you can find the origin of everything. Put in the etymology of anything, you can find the origin of everything. When you're thinking about Palestine, you're not thinking, listen, you have to go to the old maps, you have to go to etymology, you have to go to the images, you have to go to what we call what is it called? Topography. I was about to say topographica. Topographica. You have to go to topography. All right. So let's go to topography and we see our maps. All right. We'll go to online etymology. All right. We're going to switch over here. Now look at this. The Latin Philistia, all right, Philistine, right, is the name of Roman province from Greek Palestine, Herodias, all right, from Hebrew Palestias, Palesheth, right? All right, Philistia, the land of the Philistines. Look at this. The land of the Philistines. Philistia, the land of the Philistines. Palestine don't got nothing to do with the name of the people that are there today. Not at all. It's got to do with black people that were Africans, that was the son of Noah, that Europeans, Turkish, invaded, took over the land. And as the Europeans conquered little by little, they just kept changing the names. Philistine, listen, do you all remember who Philistines are? Here, let me show you something real quick, all right? Let me show you something real quick. Now, here's the name right here. Here's the etymology. Here's the etymology for the word Philistine. Now, what you see right here is that for Philistine, the word was changed to give white people more comfortability in their conquering of other people's lands. Isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? So in order to make themselves feel comfortable, they take the land and put their own culture on it. You can't make this stuff up. So America right now is going through a terrible time frame that's already been prophesied in the Bible. It has to happen. It's going to happen. All right. But we see that there's nothing new under the sun. I want to get this word real quick, and I want to show y'all something. All right. Now, everything that we do is we study to show ourselves approved. All right. Now, you might not agree with me. You might not like me. All right. Put a 7 in the room if you hear the volume good, if the audio is good. Put a 3 in the room if the audio, if I need to turn the audio down. All right. Look at this over here. Come over here with me, y'all. Look at this. Philistines. Do y'all see this? Look at the relief. All right. When you think of Philistines, you have the land of Canaan. You have the Canaanites. Canaanites was the Africans, was the Egyptians. When you think about Philistines, don't bother this pinkish skin over here. All right. That's just their imagery. They can do that, right? That's what they do, right? You don't need this. You need these wall carvings. These are called reliefs. What you need to do is learn that the Canaanites were Africans. As much as they try to paint them brown and all the other images, this is called, we call this right here, this is blasphemy. Who was a Philistine in the Bible? Who was the most popular Philistine in the Bible? Pop quiz. Tell me if you know. If you don't, it's okay. I'm going to share the information with you. Now, I want you to look at this word right here. And I just want you to read this. Make sure I'm not making this up. If I'm saying anything out of the way, correct me. You got 3 seconds. 2. All right. Time's up. Did I say anything that was incorrect? Irregardless of if you like how I speak, if you like me or not personally, did anything I say on what you've seen on that page was anything the opposite of the truth? 1 Samuel chapter 17, KJV Blue Letter Bible. Come over here with me, everybody. Let me show you something. I like to share. That's what I like to do. I like to share. 1 Samuel chapter 17. All right. And we're going to go straight to the juice. 1 Samuel chapter 17. This is one of the most famous Philistines in the Bible. Look, 1 Samuel chapter 17. And this is a story that you all knew, but you forgot about. Now, the Philistines gathered their armies together to battle and were gathered together at Sukkoth. Right? Now, watch this. This story right here is about David and Goliath. And the majority of us forgot. When we hear Palestine, we have the images that's put in front of our head. We have Palestine. This is what the Lord did. Let me tell you how cold Yahweh is. I can't really tell you or share with you how cold he is because it's beyond my comprehension. But I will say this, throughout time, what he does is he proves himself. All throughout time, he'll put a word in the Bible that thousands of years later, you know what I'm saying, the other people are using for their benefit. But he like, nah, I already did that, son. Look at what Yahweh did. Now the Philistines gathered together, their armies in battle, and were gathered together at Sukkoth, which belongeth to Judah. You see that? So when these Arabs, these white people that are claiming that whole other nationality, because they're really not even the true Arabs. They're Esau mingled into every other culture. They're Japhet mixed in with Esau, mixed in with Canaanites. The word Arab means mixed. It means mingled. They can be Arab all they want. They're mixed. We are the Yaladim and Yasha'Allah. They live in the land of Judah. So while they're over there waving flags talking about they're bombing Palestine, guess what? The Bible says that's our land. The same ones that the Arabs sold into slavery. I don't feel bad about it. I'll wipe my feet and dust my boots at their door on my way off. And don't got to go back in and get him a crying dime or a screaming penny. I'll sit on the corner till it turns green. I'll sit on the corner till it oxidizes. You understand that? That means I can save some money if I need to. I don't got to get in my bread. Spend your money with those who respect you. Respect yourself. You don't got to get them heathens nothing. You can go without. These same people that call themselves so-called Palestinians are Palestinians. And look at this, Palestine shrinking, expansion, Israel. Listen, what's happening over there, I'm so sorry that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people are going through what they're going through, but it has to. We're going to see a report today from the United Nations. Now, this symbol right here, this flag right here is the United Nations logo and or symbol. It does not prove that the earth is flat. When you see this symbol, if somebody tells you, well, look, the flat earth symbol is right there in the United Nations, that is not true. We've already disproven and we've already disproven, one, the earth is not flat, the earth is a sphere. That's stupid. It's just dumb. The earth is not flat. All right. Secondarily, there's not an ice wall going around the entire planet. You know how you can disprove that? Ask them where the ice wall is going around anywhere else in the world. They'll only mention Antarctica. Outside from that, there's a whole bunch of other proof. The person who invented the UN flag logo is all you got to do. Look up the man. I'll give you a hint. Look up the man who invented the UN flag logo. He was not a flat earther. Point of saying such to say, we're going to listen to read a report about we're going to watch from the United Nations. All right. So outside from just showing that the Palestinian flag and the people that live in Palestine now got nothing to do with you African Americans, you Negroes. When you see that Palestinian logo, that flag, that symbol, you think of those colors of those horses. My bad. I'm apparently not on my account with no commercials, so I apologize about that. I can't stand commercials. I gotta do premium. I gotta have an account. I can't stand commercials. All right, they break your train of thought. Point of saying such as to say is when you see that flag, you should think about the horses that's in Revelations: the green horse, the white horse, the red horse, the black horse. Think about the horses, the four horsemen that's in Revelations. You got the three colors right here. You got the green, the white, the red, the black. Then you got the red. These are not. If you think I made that up, then go and read it for yourself. Live from the Isle of Patmos. It's welcome to Hebrew News, I guess. I don't know. We're going to go forward with this. So we're going to look at that again. We're going to close this window down because I got to start closing up windows. This is the imagery that you want to understand. Where I am Palestinian. I am Palestinian. I am Palestinian. You can laugh at them because you're not a Philistine. They are not Philistines. I want to show you something because you got to know who you are and who the other people around you are. You are the children of Israel. You are the Most High's chosen, select, His special, His elected, the light of the world, the salt of the earth, as I've just been recently reminded to and of. Tawada, and thank you. Tawada, thank you for that. Whenever you mix up Tawada and thank you, you get thank you. So Tawada, thank you for that, sister. I appreciate your reminder. When it's saying such as to say, here's our word right here, Philistine. That's the word for Palestine. All right, Philistia. Now let's go to our end all be all, which kills all points, which is our Bible. All right, look, I don't got nothing to do with it. All I gotta do is this right here. I don't gotta go to no contracts. I don't gotta go to slavery. The Most High has me in liberty. I am free by showing my shot. That's all I got to do. So y'all can catch up on it later, catch in on it now. But I'm gonna get this out. We're gonna get this out. All right. So Here's our narrative. All right. Our narrative is always going to be the Bible. Okay. Our narrative is always going to be the Bible. Now look at this. Now the Palestinians, it don't say Palestinians do it. It say the Philistines. It don't say Palestinians at all. Don't let these people confuse you. And yeah, they feel bad about what's going on to their people, but they forgot about what they did to you blacks. See, the Arabs forget and don't tell you while they're at the corner stores and while they're dealing with our little daughters. Keep your daughters out of the corner stores. Keep your daughters away from the Arabs, man. Look at this. The inhabitants of Philistia, descendants of Mizraim, the descendants of Mizraim, who, look at, you can't make this stuff, man. I didn't make this up. Do you all know who the Mizraimites are? In the Bible, the Mizraimites are called Maktazar. Maktazar is Egypt. Maktazar are Egyptians. Maktazarium, Philistines, not Palestinian. Now they can do what they do. They can say what they say. The Most High got a prophecy against them. I'm just here to show y'all what the words say according to the Bible and how it's all lining up, and how we have some crazy and stuff going. Crazy and stuff. We have some crazy stuff going on. All right, let's get to this video real quick. All right, we're gonna start with. That's a perfect time for that to simmer down. We're gonna start with the UN. Let's go right to the UN. All right. So we're gonna start with. All right, a message from the UN's chief. This just blew my mind. All right, this is wonderful. Now, if you are a conscious, aware, woke man or woman, if you are free in your mind, this video should make some sense to you. Let's see.
Today we commemorate the victims of a staggering crime. Millions of people stolen from their families and communities in Africa, trafficked across the Atlantic, and if they survived the journey, enslaved in the Americas. Millions more were born into bondage, brutally exploited for their labor, and denied their basic humanity. We honor their quiet resilience and courageous acts of open resistance. This global order prevailed for over 400 years and haunts our world even now. In systems and institutions shaped and enriched by chattel slavery, in social and economic inequalities rooted in past injustices, and in biases that permeate our culture and impact us all. On this International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, we are called to confront these legacies. By rejecting the false narrative of racial difference and the ugly lie of white supremacy, by dismantling racism online, in the media, in schools, at work, in politics, and within ourselves, and by working for truth, justice, and repair. I welcome the initial steps by some governments to address the consequences of slavery, but far bolder actions by many more member states are needed, including commitments to respect African countries' ownership of their own resources, and steps to ensure their equal participation and influence in the global financial architecture and the UN Security Council. Together, let us commit to a world where all people live and thrive in dignity.
All right, well, that ain't happening. So there will be no one world united, save it be under Christ by Shema Shekau. So I want to give a salute and applaud to the administrator for his affirmation of biblical prophecy being fulfilled. Let's look at this right here. This man said this global order prevailed for over what? Over 400 years. Now, I know that the white man that runs the world, that the Arab that runs the world, that the cultures that are back and forth fighting know that the Bible says 400 years you shall be in captivity. Whenever we see this in other world powers' mouths, this gives us a shout. This gives us a joyce. For me. All right, we're gonna pull up real quick Genesis. I want to show y'all something in the Bible. All right, let's get Genesis 15 KJV Blue Letter Bible. I like people to know things. All right, I like people to know things. Genesis 15. All right. Now look at this real quick. All right. So you should be able to see this. We're gonna share this screen. All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 15. And let's start right here. This was the prophecy that happened to a black man who was named Abraham. I remember that song. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons for real. And these are the children of Israel. All right. Everybody remembers that song. Why? KRS-One put it out there, and then he promoted very loudly that African Americans, blacks, are the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel from the Bible. This is what the Lord God said about Abraham's children. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. So he's having a nightmare, a bad dream, right? And he said unto Abram, know of surety that thy seed will be a stranger in the land that is not theirs. That's a dream. I don't get it. My children, what you mean? I don't even have no children. I'm a rich man with no children. And in my bad nightmare dream, I'm seeing my children are going to be sold away in another strange land. Abraham's seeing things that he's never seen before. Abraham was a future seer, right? Our forefathers were. Look at this. And what shall happen to Abraham's children once we go into slavery? He says, and shall serve them, and they shall inflict them. How long does the Bible say? 400 years. Now, I don't got no wings on my back, but if I did, I would be out of here. The point of saying that is to say, if I'm lying, I'm flying. What did this man say? This man said this global order prevailed for over 400 years, man. You everyday Hebrew, Negro, men and women that's out there, we just in the hood kicking it. We in the wherever we at, we professional, wherever. Y'all better take a closer look at what's happening. The world powers that be says we honor your quiet resilience. That's because the Most High put that in us. The Most High put that quiet resilience in us while they see this man has got to be well. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. This man's got to be well in his. It's hard to gauge his age. Point of saying such to say he done seen some things. He done said some things. He's got some experience. It's no new concept to him, the mistreatment of the African Americans, the so-called Negroes, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North, South, Central American, Haitians, scattered in the North, South, Central American, the interior of Africa. There's no doubt that this man knows who we are. Honor your quiet resilience and courage acts of open and courageous acts of open resilience. Hold on.
This global order prevailed for over 400 years and haunts our worlds even.
And what? Haunts their worlds. Haunts their world even now. Hold on. Let's go to the Bible. I want to show y'all something because a lot of you black people haven't seen this. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, KJV. We're going to get the Wisdom of Solomon. No, not Song of Solomon. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. I want to show you something. This is in your mama's Bible. This is in every Bible on the planet. Of course, that has the Apocrypha. You want to get an old Bible. The older the Bible, the better. All right, so let's look at this real quick. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. This is a prophecy that's going to happen. This is not a church thing. This is a nationality thing. There's going to be a race of people. There's going to be a race of people that are going to stand up. Then shall the righteous man stand up in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. Have you been afflicted as your nationality? Have you been last, hired, first, fired? Have you been socially unequally handed the gracious hand of equality? Listen, if you've been through these curses, it's all a farce. It's all a facade. If you've been offered the fakeness of friendship under the guise of slavery, this is for you. And this is for those who acknowledge and recognize the wickedness that's happened. People are waking up. The people are waking up, man. Let's see. Then shall the righteous stand in a time of great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. We get paid a couple dollars an hour to work at McDonald's, a couple dollars an hour to work right up the street, to work around the corner to keep their system going, but they don't give us enough to take care of our basic needs. It's still slavery. It's still slavery. When they see it, look at this. Then, future prophecy, shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they should be terribly troubled with fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. This is what they're going to say. And saying, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirits, shall say within themselves. This is what you're witnessing. I'm telling y'all, this movement of so-called Negroes, blacks, African Americans standing up to now. I don't per se want to use this image, but we are everywhere, globally, worldwide, universally. You cannot go anywhere without somebody knowing that the African Americans that live right here in Cincinnati are the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. The descendants from Kentucky that got off of those slave ships are the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. This is the Manhattan Institute. We're not making anything up. It's public information. Look at this. First, I want to read to you what your enemies say about you. This is the AJC, American Jewish Committee. What do we like about this word? That the word Jewish means you ain't a real Jew. We don't care about we freedom of speech, sucker. You are not the real Jews. You are the devil that the Bible speaks of, and the Most High is taking care of his judgment on them right now. Just like we had to go through our 400 years of oppression, captivity, slavery, they got to go through theirs. So the Most High is kicking off all this stuff right now, and it's public information what we're showing you. We didn't make any of this up. Let's go back real quick. ISH is a suffix. It stands for pertaining to or something like. So when you see not the real Jews, that's what they are. Not the real Jews. Ish. They are Jewish. Ish. I can be childish, but I'll never be a child again. I can behave very childish, sottish, but I'll never be a child again. They can behave like the Jews, but they will never, ever be the true Jews that the Bible speaks of, just like they're not the real Philistines. I was struggling with that word. Did y'all hear me? I was jump roping over that word, boy. Let's read this real quick. A phrase claiming that today's Jews are not the chosen people, referencing in the Bible. When it's, and I hate this right here, when it's anti-Semitic. Now, first of all, black people, African Americans, those of you of the colored diaspora, and we go from different shades of light, bright to all the way looking white, albino to deep, dark purple, black. We are many different shades. We are Semitic. So they can't call you anti-Semitic Semitism because you are Semitic. So it's like if I'm roasting on my cousin, and so what? You my cousin. I am a Shemite. While the phrase has been used by many throughout history, today it is most commonly used by black supremacists. How can we be black supremacists? All we got is papers. We stand out there with books and flyers and notebooks and pens, and that's all we got is flyers. How can we possibly be black supremacists? But let's read on. Claiming black people, not Jews. Well, here's the issue. Black people are Jews. Are the true chosen people of God. Black supremacy has its root in black chosenness. I don't know what the hell black chosenness is. I have to Google that. What is black chosenness? The belief that African Americans are the descendants of the 12 Hebrew tribes of Israel who settled across Africa after the destruction of the kingdom of Israel and were eventually sold into slavery during the Atlantic slave trade. It sounds like this heathen summarized it for us. It sounds like we don't really need any backup on his breakdown. What we can see is that the United Nations did a public apology using the scriptures. Secretary General remarks to the General Assemblies to mark the International Day of Remembrance for victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade as delivered. March the 25th, 2025. Here's the information. If you would like to, you can look it up for yourself. All right. Here are the proofs. What they say, where's the receipts? Here's the receipts. Their validation of their horrors of the transatlantic slave trade. Everything is coming out. Epstein files, Isaiah Yasharallah files. I mean, everything is coming out. You can't hide anything. Some stuff you don't gotta hide. Some stuff people just like to be in your dirty drawers. Get out my dirty drawers drawer, brothers. Brothers going through my dirty drawers drawers. Talking about, I didn't know his drawers fit like that. Oh, well, we don't think you should. You look, let's get to this real quick. The government and the UN and every world power that is in operation right now, all doing the same thing. They're looking to the skies. All right, they're looking to the skies. We have a horrible, horrible thing that's happening right now, and it's not being documented enough. It's not being presented enough. The people are losing not only their consciousness, they're losing their care. It's a zeal. The word is zeal. It's like so-called Hebrew Israelites that got on all the same button-up shirts. I can tell you who you are by what camp you with, what school, what congregation, which I'm very grateful that Most High raised us all up to look for him ourselves. Let me read this to you real quick. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 13. This is what's going to happen. Remember, we're reading future prophecy. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel. See, it don't say that the day of the Lord is going to be beautiful. The Bible says that the day of the Lord Yahweh is going to be cruel, is the word. Cruel. Both cruel and wrath, and both cruel with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. Why are we having fireballs falling from the sky in 2026? People are saying meteorites. There's a difference between a meteorite, there's a difference between an asteroid, there's a difference between a fireball. I'm telling y'all right now, I live in Ohio. The Most High has allowed me the blessing of being able to travel to different locations. And now that I'm here in Ohio, I see there are horns going off in Cincinnati over the sky. What else do we got? We got fireballs falling from the sky over in Cleveland. But this is a universal event that we're seeing. It's a worldwide event that we're seeing. If you just tapped in, Shalom, make sure you like, subscribe, share this out, man, so other people can learn. We went over so much, and we've seen already that the Lord said, God said, black people, don't get scared when I say that. You're a black person. This is for you. It's for your nationality. You're not a black person. You're not from the children of Israel. This is for you to give and share to somebody else to help them to know it. The number of the name gang is 400 years. 400 years. That's the number of the name gang. Biblically, God Almighty said, your children would be in captivity 400 years. When you look at all of the world leaders and the nations, they all say the same number for the transatlantic slave trade. It doesn't change. It's 400 years every time. Every time. So I think we touched on that. We're going to move on to our next matter. All right. Our next matter is that we're going to look at Isaiah chapter 13, which is what we're currently seeing, that the Most High says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations will fall from the sky. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen. Like, stop. That's exactly what we're seeing happen. All right. So not just the comets, not just the fireballs. If you are not familiar, I would like to introduce you to three-eye atlas, not 3-1 atlas, not 3 atlas LBG. No, say 3, then say I, then say atlas. 3, hold up 3 fingers, point to your eyeball. 3 fingers, point to your eyeball, and then say the word atlas, 3-eye atlas. Don't say 3AI. You're going to be confusing yourself and others. You're going to sound weird. Nobody's going to know what you're talking about. Say 3-eye atlas. Why is that so important? Because right now we have something else that's going on. We have Fox News reports, which I'm not a real big subscriber to the social media world of news and all that stuff. But when the news starts overlapping with the Bible, then that's when I start paying attention. All right. I'm gonna share this page with y'all real quick. I want y'all to check this out. We're gonna start here, but it's not gonna be our main focal point. We're gonna start here. All right, I want to show you this. This is what's currently going on in the world around you right now because you missed it and nobody shared it with you. They didn't tell you. They didn't tell you this. Retired Major General. Major General. This dude is not a. Do you see all these colors and decorations on his chest? This man looked like he fell face first into a box of Legos and they just randomly stuck onto his shirt. This man is decorated. I don't even know his. I don't know. Major General. And you know what shames me so bad? You got so-called fake Hebrew Israelites that are military, that are police, and they refuse to bring out any. You got fake Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna call them fake. The reason why I'm gonna call them fake is because they sit on their tails, they sit on their behinds, they sit on their hands, not doing their jobs until somebody else do their job. Then they want to start acting up. Then they want to start bringing out information. Well, I'm not know nothing. I'm just a civilian out here. I'm not even no fake Hebrew Israelite. I'm just a man who knows what my nationality is. And I also know that this government is crumbling. We need to stick together. We need to bond together. We need husbands. We need wives. We need children. We need friends. We need communities. We need activists right now. We need to bring our shekels together. We need to start purchasing not only passports. If you want to purchase land, purchase land. You better make sure you got a gun, though. You have a firearm, some type of way to protect your sovereignty yourself, even if it's for a split second. All right. We got to start getting our affairs in order because this world is showing us that not only is Christ coming back, I'm so gangster. I don't care about being like, these niggas say Jesus. I don't like Jesus stuff. Debate me about it, boy. Debate me about it. Christ is coming back. Here's the signs. You have everything that's happening in the movies is happening in real life. Retired Air Force general vanishes in 1 hour window from home. He didn't take his identification, I guess, with him. Maybe he took his gun. He took his backpack. Let me explain something to y'all. These military men and women wake up at the crack of dawn, and when they wake up, they are trained to immediately start getting into their routine, make their bed, get their clothes straight, eat their breakfast in about 2 minutes, be lean and slim, and here's your training. These are not goofies. After Trump gave the report, I'm going to play some information. After Trump gave the report that he was releasing the files pertaining to the AP and all this other stuff, there's been a slew of top officials that's been coming up missing. General McAllison is one of the main ones. Here's General McAllison. All right. General McAllison is one of the main ones. I encourage everybody to look this dude up. All right. Air Force cats, man. I'm so grateful, man. I'm so grateful. The Most High reveals a plethora of wealth of information to these people. And of course, they have to keep their oath. They have to keep their decree. They got to live by, die by. This man was shot outside of his house. Now, I'm not, me and Carl Gilmar was not the homies. We weren't like we was kicking it. Nah, Carl Gilmore was the scientist that was working not only with flexi metal. I say flexi metal, I sound like a little kid. He was working with experimental flexi metal. I'll let you all get that information yourself. But he was also the one who was researching and finding possibilities of water and life outside of this planet. Now, why does this all go together? Because these three, all right, I only mentioned two, all right, but we also have a rocket scientist, right? One day she's kicking with her family. This is all 2026. The next minute she walks off smiling, and it's like either she was taken up by a UFO or a chariot, or you know what I'm saying, she went down through a secret portal. They're all missing. No big deal, right? We got blacks missing around the world all the time, 24 hours a day. Think about yourself. Brother trying to save the Gentiles, that's trying to save his own people. I'm trying to warn you all that this government is collapsing, is crumbling, and it's all centered around what's happening, not only in space, but what's happening in the Bible. McAllister was last seen around, 11 a.m., leaving his house in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, they say that when he left his cell phone, his glasses, and all his wearable devices. Does that make sense? All right, let's get to this real quick. The meat and potatoes of it all is as we're going through our daily, everyday walking through life, every single week, every single minute, every single hour, there's a new report of some insanity that's happening right here in the world that we live in that's not being broadcast and reported to us because their objective is to keep us dumb, deaf, and blind going in a circle. First thing is you don't want them niggas to open their Bible. Don't get them to open their Bible. Let's keep them distracted with everything that we can. Make sure that the food keeps them docile. Make sure the food keeps them fat and docile. And make sure that none of them actually have plans on leaving America. This place is a prison. This place is a jail. We can travel around it all we want, but America is still the plantation. It's still the slave ship. You get a job, you say you're on a slave ship. Nah, baby, you're just on a different part of the slave ship. The whole America is a slave ship. The whole America is the boat. And once you get off the boat, you had some Israelites that was like, we ain't getting on that boat, and they jumped off to their death. Here is our campaign right here that we see, and it's being spoken of eloquently. I'm gonna leave this up, and let's see what he says for a second. We'll get to our next part, and I'll yield the floor.
Now, in systems and institutions shaped and enriched by chattel slavery, in social and economic inequalities rooted in past injustices, and in biases that permeate our culture and impact us all. On this International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, we are called to confront these legacies. By rejecting the false narrative of racial difference and the ugly lie of white supremacy, by dismantling racism online, in the media, in schools, at work, in politics, and within ourselves.
Now, let me stop this real quick. So, Trump is talking about, and not just, see, you got to realize the code words between the words. Trump is not only talking about, he's actively taking out the history of the transatlantic slave trade in the West. Trump is doing this. So you have the United Nations and other leaders saying, listen, we got to put that stuff back in there. They're saying we got to put that information back in there. I'm sorry about that. We got to put that information back in there so that people can see it. What is a culture that grows up without knowing who they are? What is a culture that grows up not knowing what their nationality is? So listen, man, they're saying they welcome in the steps of what to do next. They've already got a plan. They've already got a plan. Let's read this real quick. All right. This is Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abraham, know of surety thy seed shall be a stranger in land that is not yours, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation who they shall serve, look, the Lord said, will I judge? So they know that they're under the curse and the judgment of the Lord. They know it. And afterward shall they come out with great substance. This is what you have to look forward to. But at the same time, we have these things that we're going through currently. All right. Check this out. Here's what we are battling up against: black identity extremism. If you want to, if your elder gives you permission, because some of you don't have permission to do more than what your elder says. So if your elder gives you permission, all right, then here's the FBI vault and the files on black identity extremism. Identity, not even extremism, just identity. They don't even want us to think about ourselves. Ain't this what it says in the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6? Nor was it even lawful for a man to call himself a Jew. I want you all to see this. These are all files on Hebrew Israelites. These are all government files on the children of Israel, on the black man. I'm not making this up. So when I go somewhere and I get a job, I'm not impressed if the white man gives me a job. You're supposed to. You're actually supposed to give me more than a job. Thank you for the opportunity of being able to be a slave. How much did you want? I would like to start at, let's say 23. Let's say 20. Let's 22. I'd be comfortable starting at 22. Double down on that. You want to start? Yeah. But I also want the Sabbath days and the holy convocations off because we didn't make any of this up. Here's the information if you want to see it for yourself. This government is working very hard to keep you people from knowing who you are. The FBI vault right here, black extremism, identity, all right, X, Y, and Z of the such, the fault and the fourth, all right. So I'll leave that link up if you would like to. You can have it for yourself. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hate commercials. Oh, I hate commercials so bad. I gotta do something about that. All right. So anywho, I think that's it for now. I think we touched on the topics. All right. And I'm gonna say if anybody has any questions, you know what I'm saying, hit up Brother Genesis Loopy Lane. All right, he'll be able to share with you more information. Brother goes by the name of Phineas. All right, but you see him on Facebook as Genesis Loopy Lane. I want to read this last scripture before we get out of here. This is what we got going on. All right, Isaiah chapter 13, verse 9. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it, and the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth. That is terrifying. And the moon shall cause her light, shall not cause her light to shine. So we're actually watching this. I can go to, this would be a good time to go to geophysicist information and pull up how the sun is blocking out, how the sun is losing, how the sun is giving away its light. All right. So with that being said, I would like for you all to study to show yourselves approved. Take some time and see if you actually agree or disagree. All right. Get back with me, Kwame Asherala, and don't forget, this information is not gossip. This is real brass news. Okay. So take your time, study for yourself. All right. And then see what is it that you can do to help those that's around you. Starting with yourself. Start with yourself. Start with helping yourself first. All right. See what you can do to get past your own stuff and then see if you can bring other people into the light. Now let's look at this real quick. All right.
In New Mexico are asking for the public's help in locating a retired Air Force Major General who has been associated with the UFO community. William McCaslin has been missing for 2 weeks now. Senior correspondent Claudia Cowan has details tonight. Good evening, Claudia.
Good evening to you, Brett. This mysterious disappearance is drawing attention because of where this top military scientist once worked. Authorities say 68-year-old William Neal McCaslin was last seen at his home in Albuquerque on February 27th. They believe the retired Air Force general left his house on foot and then vanished. He left his phone and prescription glasses at his house, but his wallet and a .38 caliber revolver are said to be missing. A statement from the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office says he's an avid hiker, and while there's no sign of foul play, they say it's, quote, unlike Neal to be out of touch from his family and friends for this length of time. And they've issued a silver alert, which in New Mexico applies to missing people over 50 who may have cognitive or medical issues that could put them in danger. Before retiring in 2013, McCaslin commanded the research lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, one of the military's most advanced research hubs. The base has long been the subject of speculation and conspiracy theories, claiming debris from the alleged Roswell UFO crash was stored there. But investigators say there's no evidence McCaslin's disappearance has anything to do with his work there. And trying to put online rumors to rest, his wife Susan posted on Facebook saying even if there was a connection, quote, with absolutely no sign of him, maybe the best hypothesis is that aliens beamed him up to the mothership. However, no sightings of a mothership hovering above the Sandia Mountains have been reported. Multiple agencies are combing the area where McCaslin was last seen. The FBI has also joined the search for this decorated Air Force general who simply walked out his front door there in Albuquerque 2 weeks ago and never came back. Brett?
We'll follow it. Claudia,